And please stand and fix your mats and cushions if you're on one. We'll do the 3 refuges. Oops, unmute everybody. You're all unmuted. I go for refuge to the Buddha.
I
I go
for refuge to the Buddha.
Repeat after me, thanks. And resolve with all beings.
And
resolve with all beings.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment
And realize the great way.
and realize a great way.
I go for refuge to the Dharma.
I go for refuge to the Dharma
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will penetrate the teachings.
I will penetrate the teachings
And uncover oceans of wisdom.
and uncover oceans of wisdom.
I go for refuge to the Sangha.
I go for refuge to the Dharma
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many.
And transform this world into Buddha land unimpeded.
And transform this world into Buddha land unimpeded.
Let's see, I have feedback somehow. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm muting everybody again. Please be seated.
I don't think they're muted, Noara.
Yeah, I know. There we go. That should be better. All right. Okay, so good to see everybody. So once again, if you have the Heart Sutra with you, so it's page 13 in our fancy booklet, Moon Journeying Over Clouds. Otherwise, it's on our website under chanting. And I'm not sure what page it is in that PDF. It might also be page 13 of this edition, but please join me. Even though you're muted, the muting is not at all personal. It's because if you've been on some of these Zoom things, chanting all at the same time over Zoom is actually kind of not a great idea, but I'm thinking of all of you chanting at home and just chant along as we rehearse the Heart Sutra, and then we'll go around and check in and then have a discussion. So. Dhammaha Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion, from the deep practice of Prajna Paramita, perceived the emptiness of all five skandhas, and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Sariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. Oh, Sariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born or annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no thought feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness. No eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. No form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind. No realm of sight, no realm of consciousness. No ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance. No old age or death, nor extinction of them. No suffering, no cause of suffering. No cease from suffering. No path to lead out of suffering. No knowledge, no attainment, no realization. For there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but Prajna Paramita. Therefore, her mind is free of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Away from all perverted views, she reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in Prajna Paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know that the Prajna Paramita is the great Dharani, the radiant peerless mantra, the utmost supreme mantra, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the Paramita, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Para, Samgate, Bodhisvaha. Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Para, Samgate, Bodhisvaha. Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Para, Samgate, Bodhisvaha. Dhammaha Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. I've unmuted everybody. So. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's see. Our cats are practicing this morning, so as it should be. Yeah, exactly. So it's great to see everybody. So let's go around as usual and just take a few minutes to check in, say hello. How are you doing? If there's anything in particular in the Prajna Paramita that or in the Heart Sutra that kind of rang a bell for you. And so yeah, so we'll just go around. So Kosa, do you want to start? Good morning.
Good morning. Minutes before we convened, I completed a major task, and I'm feeling good about that, though a little sheepish that it took as long as it did.
There you go. Great, thank you. All right, Sanban, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm doing well, thank you. And nothing in particular stood out this week, but I'm happy to be here.
Good to see you. I was gonna say, Noju, would you like to check in?
Hi.
Hello from Cusco, right? Yeah.
Yes. Well, the president here in Peru just extended the quarantine yet again for another 2 weeks. So it's been really a roller coaster. It's been really emotional. Yeah. Today, as I was listening, the thing that stood out for me is emptiness is form, form, emptiness. I remember last week all of us talked a lot about nothing to attain, and we talked a lot about that. And for me, that really hit me, like to really understand that nothing to attain, because form is emptiness and emptiness form, like there's no separation. So there's nothing to really strive for. Like that clicked for me.
Thank you. Jogam.
Good morning. So doing all right. Continuing just to work through all of this as everyone is, and building on the last comment around the Heart Sutra. One of the things that I've been thinking about, and actually thinking about the Heart Sutra this week, is, you know, the word emptiness. And when we say emptiness, that's a very loaded word. And one of the facets of emptiness that I was sort of focused on this week was the we that grow up in the West are always looking for inherent meaning, not meaning. And, you know, from the earliest readings of Plato, of, you know, pure forms and pure essence, that for us in the West, it's such a departure, it's such a leap of imagination and leap of faith to basically do away with that and go in entirely the opposite direction. And so this week I've been trying to sort of have an exercise of asking myself, going through all of these things, you know, what if everything we're going through does not have inherent meaning? It doesn't mean anything, it just is. And that became a little harder on Thursday when counseled to inject Lysol, but you know, we do our best, don't we? So that has just been an ongoing thing, and I plan to sort of continue with that as I go through the week, because I found it to be helpful, is to no longer look for the meaning, and embrace the emptiness, as it were, but at least a different way of looking at emptiness.
Great, thank you. Yeah, Nikki, Thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
To see you all.
How have you been?
We've been okay, healthy, so that's been good. But I've been just grateful that I found the time this morning to join you all. This is the first time I've managed to, and it's been a bit chaotic here and trying to work and with the 2 kids and helping my parents in a move. So yeah, it's been chaotic, but this has been lovely. Chanting with you all, meditating. That's all for today.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Nalanda, hello again.
Hello. Good to see everybody. Good to see Sunita. And haven't seen you in a while. Anyway, I'm doing well. Good to see you.
Yeah. Richard.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah.
I'm doing fine. Things continue. The line that struck me, and I don't know why yet, is no knowledge. I guess I'm thinking both that as someone who kind of works a lot with knowledge, I'm thinking about what that means, but I'm also aware that as I'm looking around at the world, it seems like knowledge is not forthcoming oftentimes. But what is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? This is where my mind goes. Good to see you all.
Yeah. That's a good question. Moja, good morning.
Good morning. Good to see everyone. I think the line that's struck me, and I don't have it in front of me, but I think something about where there is no hindrance, there is no fear. I don't know. I think for me, hindrance, again, without studying the sutra too much or knowing too much, seems just like akin to resistance. And I think I've had a lot of resistance this week with my kids, with work, with everything. And I think recognizing that under all of that is just a lot of fear of how this is kind of all going to shake out. So just kind of thinking about how that the underbelly of fear, I think, is just impacting all of these day-to-day interactions and working with that idea of resisting a little bit less. And I'm really grateful for the sitting today. Something about the sitting in particular today for me felt really grounding. So just thankful for the group and for the space there that provided a little bit less resistance, something about the group today. So thank you.
Yeah. Wandu, good morning.
Hi. I guess the one that stuck out for me, especially with like the events of the last week, is no ignorance nor extinction of ignorance. That seems to be like our political climate right now. And it also, for some reason, a Todd Snyder lyric kind of stuck in my head at the moment that was read, and it's 97% of people use 3 to 6% of, I think it's 5 to 6% of their brain. 97% use 3%, the rest goes down the drain. I'll never know which one I am, but I'll bet you my last dime. 97% think we're 3% 100% of the time. So, it's like that's really kind of what stuck with me, is especially with all those mass protests and stuff around the country. The gun waving people. But,
All right.
other than that, I've been
Yeah,
doing,
perfect. Thanks for that. Could you set up your chessboard?
well, I guess, other than that, I've had word from a few people that I've had 2 friends that have passed in the last week or so, week and a half. One of them being younger than me from COVID-19. So that's kind of made me aware of my own impermanence. Beyond that, I guess I don't have much else to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm it's out of turn, but I want to just respond a little to that, which is that I just had somebody die who wasn't dying from COVID-19. And I thought that was a potent reminder that while this is going on, all the other conditions of human existence are also still chugging away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll just remind, I'm going to speak for Oche, but I know Oche's been putting tablets on the altar where they're practicing. And so if there's anybody or any memorials that you'd like on the altar, right, Oche, you'd be able to put those up. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And yes, people we haven't seen for a long time or seen before here. So I'm going to go to Nogel. Peggy, great to see you. It's been a while. I think you're muted. Let me unmute you. Make sure you're unmuted. There we go.
Hi.
Hi, good to see you.
I'm here in my house with,
Oh, that's who that is.
Hi. Yeah, I've got it. I was not really able to sit very much with the 2 little ones running around, but I'm thankful that I'm able to see you guys and at least get a little bit of peaceful moments in between craziness.
Yeah. Great to see you. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, and Trina, good to see you.
Hello, everyone. I was so excited when I saw this come in, pop up in my email that there was a class on Heart Sutra because I chant that every day, and so it's really wonderful to just hear what everyone's input is on this. But I'm with I think it was Nikki who said, "Without hindrance, there is no fear." I really relate to that line. And when I think of when fear arises in me, it's coming from a place of attachment. And when there is no attachment, there's no fear and there is no worry. And there's a sense of letting go and almost surrendering to what is and the ever-changing nature of life and impermanence of all things. And the word Prajnaparamita is from Thich Khan's translation, is the insight that brings us to the other shore. So when I think about it like that, it's like, okay, if my goal is to get to the other shore, what can I do to continue to nourish and develop this insight?
Thank you. Great. And is it Desiree? It's like, yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I haven't been to the temple in many years, but I want to be here for the Heart Sutra as well. And I meditate on my own. But very nice to do it with a few familiar faces and just everyone that wants the same.
Thank you. Thank you. Emma.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to see everybody. the line that stuck with me today was no path to lead out of suffering. Especially being in this place of like wondering when it's all gonna end. I'm like, what can I do? I like that right now. It's a nice place to just sit with, I guess. It's all being all confusing as it is. Yeah, thank you for having me. That's it.
All right, Sunita. Good to see you. All right.
Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. There's all this going on and it's devoid of intrinsic meaning. In other words, this is our life and we're living it. And you shouldn't get too wrapped up in any moments or any little twist of the turns, and just take a step back and look at the life as the game it is and have fun. And that's Stu calling me. So I have to talk to him real briefly. That's all I have to say anyway. I'll be back.
Okay, I'm going to mute you then, right? Is that all right? It's good to see you. Let's mute Sunita. There we go. Samsu.
We've got to unmute him.
Good morning.
Do it himself.
I'm doing okay. I think what stands out for me today is no realm of consciousness, because I'm not sure where my consciousness is. I've thrown my sleep, so I definitely moved into being a night person. It's completely inverted. So I'm trying to adjust that so that I can maintain work this week. I feel good, and I'm getting things done. And then I have a very long list of things that I don't want to do, which is harder to do when you're in the house by yourself. So, I feel like this week I've settled into a whole different phase of this. So, but I'm very happy to see people's faces this morning.
Me too. And I'm not ignoring Oche. He's just going to go last because he's our presenter, but he'll tell us how he's doing before he starts presenting. But I'm going to turn it over to this person here, Gakta.
So hearing the Heart Sutra this morning crystallized something I've been building all morning, and that's that I don't have to get the story right. In fact, I don't have to have any story at all, because I think as human beings, we all try and take all the stuff that's going on and make up a story, and that we feel lost unless we have a story about it. And then once we get a story, we're still not happy because, oh, did I get the right story? Am I telling the story right? And what the Heart Sutra said to me this morning is, I don't have to do any of that. And so there's a lot of joy in that. And it's like putting down a big burden. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. And I'll just chime in, and because next week, of course, is Buddha's birthday. So the line I keep coming back to, and it's kind of become oddly a touchstone as much as anything the Heart Sutra can, is the Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna paramita. And so I'm really trying to take advantage of this period of uncertainty and everything being unsettled to sort of really look hard at the things that I'm holding on to that I didn't even realize I was holding on to, which is related to the story thing. So I think I loved Wandu's song lyric, because I think we all think that, hey, I'm good and the problem is over there. And actually there's a bucket of stuff that we could be working on in our own, what we're holding on to and not letting go of. And so I just kind of feel like the dominoes are starting to fall, and I'm starting to let go of a lot of stuff that I didn't know I was dragging around and didn't really have too much time to look at when I was just go, go, go. So So I just segue into saying maybe over the next couple of weeks, since next week is Buddha's birthday, and I'll announce what we'll be doing for that at the end. But maybe we can all just sort of really use these 2 weeks to sort of try to look at what we're holding on to, right? And maybe surprise ourselves, right? That there's something that we're holding on to that we didn't even realize we were really holding on to. And just kind of maybe look at it and just maybe laugh at it. You know, letting go of it is a really tall order. Maybe we can let go of it for a second before it starts seizing up again. But, you know, to try to use the uncertainty and unsettledness to sort of just, with everything unstable, it's a great time, right, to see the stuff that we're holding on to that we might not have realized. And then the last thing that I'll say before turning over to Oche is, Kosa, did you listen to On Being this morning? I know you're my On Being buddy. I don't know if you did, but it's actually very funny. I'm in one of those phases where the universe keeps telling me the same things, and I open an email and it says the same thing. The universe thinks I'm really stupid. So when it's trying to get through to me, it tells me that 10 ways. And I actually said to Gakta, I was like, I'm not even going to turn on Being because I'm kind of afraid of what it's going to be. And it was Stephen Batchelor, the Buddhist, great scholar of Korean Buddhism. But Stephen Batchelor was on Being talking about solitude in Montaigne. And I was just like, wow, okay. So you want my attention, you got my attention. Like, that's actually hilarious. So yeah, if we let go of all the stuff we're holding on to, we can actually maybe listen and just be like, okay, I finally am trying to, I think I might finally be listening to whatever it is out there is trying to tell me. So on that note, I'll just turn it over to Oche, who's gonna talk to us first, checking in just how everything is going. And then your assignment was exactly that: no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there's nothing to attain, I think, right? That was what we're looking at. It's probably a good idea to mute ourselves.
Well, first of all, I was not muted. I am sorry for shouting over you at Samuel Wandu in the background. But in any case, the line that stuck out to me today was the radiant, peerless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. I don't know why, but that was the line that stuck out to me. And I'm doing pretty well. I have been enjoying the time here at the temple, and you know, sort of the uncertainty and illness and is raging around me, and I'm just feeling very grateful to have a place to stay, to be financially secure, and to have the temple as a place of deep practice. I'm very grateful for the community of people who I've had the opportunity to practice with today, and you know, who've been coming in online and just connecting with Sangha. That's really been a godsend. Moving into my presentation topic today. So Noara had asked me to speak a little bit about the line that a lot of people connected with last week, which is, you know, for there is nothing to attain, and this idea of what no attainment might mean, and as with, you know, I read this book on the commentary on the Heart Sutra about 3 times now, and I still have no idea of emptiness. I have no idea what it means, to be totally honest. And I guess that's okay, and I'm trying to be okay with that. So I'll do my best to explain this idea of no attainment, which I think is maybe best understood in terms of a little bit of sort of the historical development of Buddhism. And so, you know, in the first period of Buddhism, and still in the Theravada tradition, you know, the highest attainment in Buddhism is, you know, considered to be enlightenment, or nirvana. And in the earliest historical time of Buddhism, or in Theravada, the nirvana is something that can be attained in a single lifetime by removing attachments and passions. And so over the historical development of Buddhism and the development of Mahayana, there became sort of this belief in not just arhatship, but in the ultimate goal of practicing, or the ultimate attainment being Buddhahood. And that was sort of the first part of the historical development of Mahayana. But then as you get into later Mahayana and the Zen tradition, which we're part, there was this idea that the highest attainment of Buddhism, of enlightenment, could be attained in not just in this lifetime, but in a single thought moment. And that furthermore, there's a development in this belief of Tathagata Garbha, and that's the idea that that enlightenment isn't even something that's attained, because we have a perfect, unsullied, unmoving, undefiled nature, and that these ideas of being deluded or trying to attain knowledge, that while they can serve their function and have their purpose, that ultimately they can just sort of be like, Red Pine uses this idea of fly paper, that if we're always trying to remove delusions and remove hindrances and remove passions, we get really, really entangled in these measures and countermeasures. And, and that we're always sort of, for me, when I just look at my shortcomings, it's like numbering the stars. And if I get too entangled in trying to attain something and in this reducing, it's like a game of whack-a-mole. I'm trying to eliminate greed and hatred and anger here, and then other things are popping up over there, and it really, really seems like this endless cycle. So this notion of nothing to attain, they often use a metaphor of flowers in the sky, and this notion is that our defilements or impurities or anything like that or delusion primarily is like flowers in the sky caused by cataract, and that we can get into this sort of game where we're trying to remove the cataract. These flowers, we're imagining them to be true. We're trying to get rid of them, where actually, they're just a function of a problem with our eye. And if we remove that, we see that the sky is blue and pure and endless. And another metaphor that I hear is about waking from a dream, that some of these other elements of removing defilements or ending passions, or that we work towards is attempted, can be functional in that they can help us to wake up from a dream. But once we finally awaken, and again, look out at the trees and the skies and the birds, that those, even if we found doors or keys, or there are other elements in the dream that helped us to wake up, we see that they are illusory. So instead of looking at these countermeasures in Zen, what we're told to do is to instead reflect back upon our pure original nature, what's called our original mind, and that is the focus of our practice, and that we don't have to really worry about anything else, and that when we awaken to this original mind, this first mind, and perceive it directly, that that these defilements just fall away on their own. It's like if on the ocean, if the wind ceases, then waves stop arising. So it's been helpful for me to think about that. That is sort of the attainment of non-attainment, to realize our original inheritance, our pure radiant minds.
Thank you, Oche. Anybody have any follow-up or discussion or interpretation or questions?
I just love the idea of not spending the time cataloging the stars in the sky when everything that you need is already right there.
I just want to say thank you. That was so clear to me and kind of really helped to put it into perspective that there's only really one thing we need to do, and it's not even really anything we have to do. It's just already there. Like you said, instead of working on all these kind of individual pieces, it's all really just one thing we need to look at. So that was great. Thank you.
Agreed.
I like the whack-a-mole imagery.
And it also makes me very happy that Oche doesn't understand emptiness.
Well, I realized actually that the reason I started mentioning the Stephen Batchelor thing was not like, oh, look at me, Batchelor was talking about Montaigne, and this is, you know, the universe is somehow talking to me. But it was that he actually said at one point, he said that when he was training as a monk, that every single one of his teachers said, emptiness is never on its own, it's always emptiness of something, right? That it's always of like independent existence and this and that.
Yeah.
And I made a mental note to share that with all of you. I'm not sure that helps us understand it. I'm not sure we're supposed to understand it, but that was why I started off on the Stephen Batchelor stuff. So it's always emptiness of independent existence, emptiness of independent form. But that it's not, we commonly want to see emptiness as a thing, which of course it's not a thing, it's relational too. I don't know if that makes, like I said.
Yeah. That's like one of my favorite sayings is there is no such thing as nothing.
Yeah.
I like that. That's deep, actually. That's very deep. Yeah.
Oh, so this means there's no mole to whack in the first place?
Kinda.
Yeah. Let's put it in the Beatles' perspective. I guess it would be let it be.
Anything worth saying has been said by the Beatles.
I really like the line about returning to our original mind. To piggyback what was said earlier about returning to that, it's like we already have that within ourselves, and so we've gone so far from it with all this knowledge we acquired and all these layers, you know, of mental formations that we build on top of our original mind. So that original mind is something that we don't necessarily have to go further to arrive at, but it's, you know, it's dropping all these layers to arrive at that original mind, which is already, you know, inside us, that Buddha nature. So it's really wonderful. And encouraging to remember that and know that we have that original mind inside of us. We've just altered it so much. So I really appreciate that. Mhm.
Richard, I'm somehow suspecting you have something to say about this, but maybe not. I don't want me to put you on the spot. Maybe it was a knowledge word. But...
I'm thinking about what everyone's saying, and I'm thinking about the return to original mind and not getting stuck like a fly to fly paper. And I'm wondering how much in our path we have to go through moments of counting things, getting stuck. And that return to the original mind is very different after everything maybe we've been through to get to some point where there's a new break. So that's what I was thinking.
I always get stuck with kind of the koan, that it takes kind of constant effort and vigilance to get back to who we really are. And I don't know what to do with that. That's always right. That it's not just like, hey, it's all good. We don't have original minds, so don't make any effort, right? So like, where is the effort? How is the effort directed, right? That's something that trips me up, or that I always find confusing. Is you know.
So I think a lot about that as well. It's a very good question, Noir. And what I've been hearing about recently is that there are sort of the two things that need to be in balance. The problem with this, if we're too zealous in thinking about this idea that we're already Buddhas, that we're already in possession of anything, it can lead to arrogance, and that the problem is that we can think that we don't have to do anything, because if we're already in possession of this pure unsullied jewel, why engage in practice? And that the other end of the spectrum is that if we think that only by engaging in tireless practice over many lifetimes can we become enlightened or realize our true nature, that can lead our to a lot of insecurity, and that and self-deprecation, and can cause our energy to flag, because the goal can seem, if you can call it a goal, can seem so unattainable. And so, you know, the way that Kinul and others have looked at this is this idea that we should have this true seeing of our spotless, radiant nature, and that when we experience that direct, then we can engage in these measures and countermeasures to help us become a Buddha, not just in essence, but also in function.
Mm-hmm.
And that, but because we know about our, have perceived directly our true nature, we won't get entangled in employing these measures and countermeasures, because we'll know that they are not real.
Mm. Mm. Thanks, that's helpful.
We take our meditation practice for granted, I guess. Speaking for myself, week 2 of the lockdown, I hadn't done any serious meditating, and it wasn't until Oche sent that link and I did some with him, and it was like a breath of fresh air. You talk about meditation being a discipline. Well, once it's a discipline, it can be taken for granted. And I never phoned it in, but boy, oh boy, when I didn't have it for 2 weeks, good God. Then it was whack-a-mole with negative emotions. And returning to practice and joining you guys was a key to not only getting back where I was, but a newfound appreciation for all this.
Thank you. Yeah, Haju is usually pretty religious, no pun intended, about making all of us take breaks, right? That every temple there's a break period. And it's easy to say, oh, I'm not going to take a break. I'm going to practice every day. But you get in a rut and you get, it gets mechanical. Yeah, so it could be good to step away and then come back. I was going to say somebody has something else going on. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
I think I hear somebody's TV. If they wouldn't mind.
Somebody has something going on in the background.
TV or background noise.
I was.
Gotta be you.
Just
don't know where it's going.
I think it's Sunita. No, it's somebody.
It's definitely not Sunita.
Okay.
I'm kind of all over the place. I'm trying, this is a really heady conversation, and it's, and that's not where I am today. So I'm trying to sort of absorb it and kind of let it flow through me. I really love this imagery, and I thank you, Oche, for what you've said. Again, I was just kind of sort of rolling along with you. So, but it was such a beautiful image to like, I'd have to ask you later, but, and look at cataracts and things. But the idea of flowers in the sky, I love that just by itself. Something that came to mind was something with somebody said something, and it made me go back to the opening of the Dhammapada. All experience is preceded by the mind, led by the mind, made by the mind, and this idea that perhaps emptiness is sitting prior to consciousness in this space between the existence of the mind and the beginning of consciousness, is something I kind of play with a little bit. And then I thought of Sunim, and Sunim is frequently returning to this idea of our heart, and I think about that because I struggle with feelings, the ideas of my heart, and so that idea of experience being preceded by the mind but connected to my heart, if I can do those two things, then where am I if I'm able to do those things?
All right, I think we're all kind of just looking at the sky stunned and looking at the flowers. I think we're all looking at those flowers in the sky and thinking about that. Yeah, thank you all. It's just really great to see. And it's great to see people we haven't seen in a while. We haven't seen before. And it's so precious. So like I said, so next week is Buddha's birthday already. You can see behind Oche, he's decorated the temple and put some lanterns up in the retreat center, and it's looking fantastic. If you'd like to make dedications with or without a donation, you can do that at home. I have a feeling I'll turn it over to Sunita and Oche to say a lot more about lanterns in a few minutes, but you can make donations and email them to the temple or text them to Oche, and he can put donation tags up. There was also a sort of a template in, I think, the e-blast, so you could also print that and write on it and scan it, and they'd be happy to hang dedications, sorry, from those lanterns. And again, I still remember Sudim telling me we all have our Sudim dedication story. And one time he said to me, he said, you know, we can dedicate lanterns to the bodhisattvas of the world. And he said to me, it's like, because they get tired. And they could use just that show of support. And I think that's incredibly true in the moment that we're living in. I think Buddha's birthday justice, even though it's virtual, we're not going to be physically together, it takes on even more meaning, or we're better able to appreciate the meaning it always had in these circumstances. And so just to be grateful, as I was saying yesterday in our training session, it's not just the birthday of the historical Buddha, which is itself a cause of celebration, but it's an opportunity to get in touch with the birth of Buddhism in your life, right? What's your Buddhist birthday? Like, what has Buddhism brought to your life? How is Buddhism, the presence of Buddhism in your life, changed your life and the world around you? So I just really encourage everybody this week to really tap into a sense of gratitude and a practice, as I was saying before, not as a burden or a punishment, but as a gift and a real privilege. And so we hope to see everybody next week. So we will send all of this out in an e-blast again. And you probably already have heard about it. And this will segue us into the next activities. So for Buddha's birthday, Bob is coordinating a Burning Karma Cabaret that will be online. That should be quite delightful. That will be on Saturday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. Central. And it will feature artists and performers from our also some people far and wide. So, and you can tune into that on the YouTube channel, the Chicago Zen Buddhist Temple YouTube channel. It will be live streaming there. The performers will be on Zoom, but we can watch on the live streaming channel in real time. And we'll send all of this out in an e-blast. If you don't get the e-blast or if you have questions, just email us and we can send you all that. And then on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Central, because it's 10 a.m. in Ann Arbor will be holding the bathing the baby Buddha ceremony. The morning service, which will be quite lovely. And so you're all encouraged to tune into that. That will be on Ann Arbor's YouTube channel, which most of you are familiar with. You should check out. They also stream their Sunday service every Sunday at 9 a.m. And I know some of you are there. Hey, Sunita, come to Chicago. What are you doing over in Ann Arbor? But or you can hang out in both of them. And then on Sunday night, we will be having the Sunday night lantern lighting ceremony and the reading of passages from the Dharma. That will be Sunday, May 3rd at 7 p.m. Central. And once again, you can follow on the YouTube channel for the time. Chicago, I'll be leading that from my living room with the cats. So and again, we'll send out all those addresses and the times and everything, send that all. So to stay tuned. But so what's going to happen now is some of you are here because you're about to no longer be called by your samsara name, as we say, your street name, and you're interested in taking precepts. And so Susha Bob will be having a precept orientation session to sort of just outline what's involved in taking precepts and what the preparation is like. He'll be doing that, and I see that the others in Buddhist Temple. Exactly. And I would love to say that I took the time to do Zoom breakout sessions and I kind of forgot and I don't know, and they'll figure something out. And then because what's also going to be happening right now is that Sunita will be having a lantern making session. If you're interested in making your own lantern for next weekend, to have next week, and you can again dedicate your own lantern at home or send a dedication. We'll also be doing that, and ideally, maybe in the next 2 minutes, have a breakout session, and maybe Susha can figure it out, and then. But there it is. So the fun continues. So stick around. You can either make a lantern or you can find out more about precepts. But let's bring an end to this session with the 4 great vows, and then we'll turn it over to less formal activities.
Nora, can I ask one question?
Sure.
Sorry. So is this the last Heart Sutra meeting?
Oh, so yeah, that's a good question. That's a perfect question. Yeah, I think we should keep going. We let's go beyond, way beyond until Lori Lightfoot tells us to get outside and come back to the temple. So like I said, I think in the next 2 weeks, if we could just all think about that holding on verse. Right, holding on to nothing but prajna paramita, and what are we holding on to? And maybe that could be our discussion, and then we could go back to maybe more formal for just a couple highlights of what's left in the Heart Sutra, and hopefully end with the and if anybody wants to present on the Gate Gate Paragate, the wonderful mantra at the end, which is actually great fun to think about. We'll end with that, but not for a few weeks. We can outlast this pandemic. We will keep talking about the Heart Sutra until we're allowed to come back to the temple. So thanks for asking. Yeah. All right. So no formal presentation in 2 weeks, because we'll just talk about holding on, the concept of holding on. But if people would like on their own to look into that verse or read a commentary or just do some internet searching, feel free. We'll just focus on that verse. So
I have a point of order.
Yes.
Do I stay on this Zoom code or?
Stay put until we tell you not to.
Great.
Okay. Which might happen, but yeah, but we'll figure it out. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate.
I vow
Life and passions, one root, I vow to terminate. Dharma gates, one mind, I vow to penetrate. The great way of Buddha, I vow to realize. Thank you all. It was wonderful to see every one of you. And yeah, so I have no idea how we're going to do this, guys. So you can stay with Sunita or you can go with Sushim, and I'm not sure how that will happen. I'm going to stay logged in. I might not hang around because I have to do some stuff for next week. But I am co-hosting, so I can just stay logged in. But Sushim, do you have any?
I'm here. First of all, well, let's see who here is wanting to do the precept meeting. Let's find out if we have anybody. So Wandu, is that a yes from you?
Yeah, and I have Haley here too.
Okay, good.
And Haley and Emma and Richard.
And Richard, Emma, just the three of you? Looks like. Okay. I'm wondering if maybe because I'm trying to figure out how to enable breakout meetings on here, and it's not really super clear how to do it. Does anyone else?
So they say go to your account settings, and I'm like, where am I?
Yeah, and I'm trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, perhaps we could just do, I'll email you guys and we'll do a meeting that I will host myself under my own name. Does that work?
That sounds good to me.
Okay. So why don't we do that?
You have everybody's email. You have Richard and Emma's email.
Yeah. And is Kosa still on?
No.
Okay. Because I know he wanted to do it. So maybe he wants to renew, but maybe he doesn't want to go to the meeting. I will, so let me write down your names on a piece of paper.
Or, hey, watch this, Sushin. This is magic. You can use the chat bar.
Okay.
You can do their emails in the chat bar.
Oh yeah.
Emails in the chat bar.
See, I'm so proud of myself.
I got a lot going on here. I'm going to use a piece of paper. So we have Emila, Richard, and Wandu, right?
Wandu and Half Pint.
Wandu and Haley. Okay. So check your email in the next minute or so, guys. I will leave this meeting. Noara, though, at 1 o'clock, I have the sound check tech thing.
That's right. I will be.
So,
I'll be gone by then.
So I'll be logging back on again, and the people doing the lanterns will have to go about their business. Okay. I'll see you guys.
All right. And so we're going to leave.
Thank you, Sunita.
Exactly.
Thanks, everyone.
Absolutely. Okay. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lantern people just stay here.
Okay.
And again, I may go dark, but I'm turning it over to Sunita. So
if you go dark, does it all go dark?
I don't know. Because watch, I'm gonna
Yeah, so
It's all yours.
is it working?
Yes,
Oh, great.
we're working. Frank, what should we gather?
Okay, I want to welcome all of you to the lantern making party with Sunita. There's a couple things we need, so take it from here, Sunita. Yay!
Okay, you're
everybody.
convincing me to hang around with you and make lanterns because that was magic. So thank you for doing that. Yeah.
What are we gonna need?
What do we need?
I love what? I like frosted tape. You might have a spoon, or you could still use your scissors. Good scissors are great. I got iron scissors, those crappy ones you get at Office Depot and stuff. Those will work, but you won't be able to do some of the more intricate stuff. But you can bother your parents for a better pair eventually. Paper, couple sheets of paper. And when you're done, it would be nice to have a candle, and instead of a real candle, one of these tea lamps that cost like $1/4 a piece. You can get those online. And this is for flossing your teeth. So we got paper, scissors, tape, and just thinking, if you need a base, you can come up with just about anything. I've got glasses and tops from vitamins, and you could use the tea lamp itself. It doesn't matter. So 2 weeks ago, Haju gave the lecture about the pure-hearted woman who made the lantern out of a broken piece of pottery, some oil, and she made her own wick, and it lasted all night. And I was really inspired because we're not going to get to the temple. We're not going to have the gorgeous lotus lantern lights in our home. There's nowhere to hang them from, probably. But we all should have a Buddha altar. And from there, we can make a lantern for the Buddha altar. And at first I thought, oh, grab a glass or a shot glass or something, and that can inspire you to fill it up with some paper cutting, and you could have a lantern. And I'll give you one result. I think they printed this up. So something like that. Well, there you go. That worked. These are lamps, and you just throw a tea lamp into it, and you get something going. And of course, that one's broken. So let's show that. Obviously, these are a lot different at night, but here you go. Here's the same idea with tea lamps, and now you can't even tell. Let's turn this off. Yeah, you can't even tell because it's so dark. But anyway, there's a tea lamp in there, and it gives off a nice glow when it's dark out. But it's not dark. It's a nice, bright, sunny day. So something like this you can make. But for today, I was thinking of making a lotus lantern lantern, but it doesn't hang. And we're going to make one of these today. So here's the finished product. I'll go through the steps, and I encourage you all to be creative and come up with your own ideas. So let's take a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, no big deal. Costs 3/4 of a penny. And we can make a cylinder out of it. Let's do that. I'll put the tape on first. And we're going to make cylinder. I'm going to retrain the camera so it sees what I'm doing.
Or this way.
Yeah, so all I did was make a cylinder.
Long way or short way, Frank?
I'd say long way. It doesn't matter. And that's part of my message today is that whatever the hell you do is what you do. It's going to be creative. And I want you to be inspired and all that. So I'm going to aim this down so you can see better. You can do even better than this. I want to do it myself. What'd you say? Yeah. Okay. So you got your cylinder. Now imagine if we wanted 3 layers. There's going to be one short, one medium, and one long. Got it? Same thing with this. So imagine here there would be, one would be about half, one would be about less than half of that. So let's do it this way. Cut about half. And then this one, cut it unevenly again. So one's even shorter than the other, so less than half. So there we go. We've got 3 halves or 3 sections. And now we're going to imagine turning these into leaves. I guess I'm going to slow down for a second. Does everybody got their materials? Are they getting started? I guess one of the important points I want to make is that 2 weeks ago, I didn't know what I was going to do. And just looking around the house at the different pieces of stuff I have laying around the house, each one little inspired me to do something till I came up with the lotus thing. So where I'm going with is, you can make a lantern out of a tea lamp that's simple like this. You could cut it more intricately and have a more intricate one. I was going to make all kinds of snarky jokes about pure heart and refer to Haju's Dharma talk, but I won't. So here we go. You've got your 3 cylinders. And imagine you want to take it and fold it. Fold it again. And let's fold it yet another time. So now you got to keep track of what the beginning and end is. In other words, I'm going to cut from each side and make a half of a petal. I'll just cut it and show you. So I'm taking that, going to the edge, and I'm cutting it in like about that. Then I'm taking this side, and I'm cutting in and meeting roughly in the middle. Boom. How's that going to look? Let's open it up and see. Miracles. Look at that. We've got lotus petals. You can reverse fold the ones that go in so that they're all going out like I just did without talking about it. Okay. So there's one layer. We want the petals to flare out.
Sorry, Sunita, can you do that? Show us where to cut again?
Yeah, that didn't work for me. Go slower on that folding and cutting.
No problem. No problem. That's the trouble. When you do a good job, it makes it look easy and that intimidates everybody. And that's not my goal. My goal is to inspire creativity. So I'm going to take the second one so you can figure it out. I took the cylinder, I folded once, folded again,
This one, I want one like this.
folded again.
No, it's those, wait, it's those folds that I'm not catching.
Oh, just keep folding it till you get to.
Are you so here's my cylinder. Are you folding it this way or are you folding it this way?
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. We're all winging it.
Yeah.
So you fold it. Imagine they're going to be petals. So you're folding so that it's lengthwise. The folds are lengthwise. Is that an explanation?
So you can, the open ends keep staying at the top while you're folding. Is that right? Or is it on the
Yeah.
side?
Yeah, that works. You'll know if you screw it up. Just kidding. So there you go. I did another one. I folded it up. I went from the outside to the inside. And I do it again. Voila. I guess I'm not a good teacher. I could check if everybody's doing okay, but I hear your expletives. You know, it's funny. Long time ago, I thought, oh, I've got to come out with something that calms me, some activity. So I picked up origami. I was so frustrated. Oh, I hated it. Just brought out all my anxieties. It was pretty funny. So and if Sunhauer were here or Jeff LeGros, Achala, he would emphasize how you want to make it every other. I'm going to go on to the third one.
I have no idea. Ended up with cuts on the top and the bottom.
You know, it always bothered me in art classes that some people could do this stuff fast. We got a lot of time on our hands, don't we? Thanks to the lockdown. So do it at your own pace and try to have fun. Don't make this frustrating like origami was for me. So I folded that. So what was it? 1, 2. Is that all it was? Seemed like more. Why would this one be different? Yeah. Here we go.
Oh, wait. I think I'm getting it.
So now we're done. Yeah, see, this one I didn't do right. So the next part of the instruction is how to make these look like lotus leaves. And the answer is you take your scissors, or I'm using a plastic spoon, and I'm taking each petal and I'm putting my thumb on it and giving it a twist.
Oh, to get
Isn't that magical?
curl it out.
And if you do it badly, you can redo it. And if you want to start over, it's a piece of paper that costs 3/4 of a penny. So there's plenty of resources. Yeah. So there's a better looking than that, right? Oh yeah. So let's do this one. Great. So then you just put them inside each other. Make sure they're staggered. Look at that. You can make it any size. This is kind of big. This one you might actually put a real candle in, but please do not tell me I started a fire by getting somebody to light a real candle on, let the paper burn and all hell break loose. True story. In Chicago and then probably everywhere else, people had real candles on their Christmas trees. Well, Christmas time would be an uptick in house fires because these things would catch fire. So that's why I like these electric tea lamps. You don't have to have a pure heart to just turn on a tea lamp and let that thing roar. Okay, pure heart, lasts all night. See how technology is advancing us? Cool. Well, that didn't take a lot of time. How's everybody? I guess everybody should say something and show off their lotus lantern. How many are there? It's only a couple of us. It looks cool. I like the green paper.
Thanks. I have a couple of different colors, so I'm gonna play it. Maybe
Oh,
make
yeah.
it with colors and
Oh yeah,
designs.
yeah. Change it up. Yeah, yeah. You could put the green one on the bottom to emulate the green petals of a lotus, and then the colored ones on the top. See,
Huh? Yeah, yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
more natural.
I like that,
I
Mario.
have an idea now.
Everybody, speak up and show off what you got.
I'm getting there. This isn't going to be the final product. I'm going to do it again because now I
Yeah.
understand it.
Oh yeah, you got the idea though.
Yeah.
There you go. And the glass is cool because it looks like a real lantern or a candle.
Maybe I'll start with white paper and color it. That might be a way to go. It just
Yeah, yeah, you could do that. You could have patterns.
block out the light, but if you just do white paper and put some, colored pencil on it, or some color.
Yeah, you can color it, you can paint it. And that's the point. Get creative. We want to fill the hours with joy. So that's how to do a lotus lantern. These other ones, all I did was took the cylinder and folded it up and took chunks out and made something like this. Looks a little better in person, I think, and definitely at darkness when the tea light is going.
Maybe a combination. Maybe a few little nicks out of this one for some light would be a good idea.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I did with this one. I thought, oh, there's a nice lantern. I'm like, no, it doesn't let enough light because it's so tall. And I just made these like little star chunks out of it. Yeah. This isn't light lantern making by Sunita. It's Sunita inspiring us to do different things and making an altar. I'll talk a minute about altar making because it turns out I have a penchant for it, and I'll give you my formulas. Definitely you got a Buddha, and it could be anything, but a Buddha statue is cool. Taking clamshells or rocks or dried up coral, anything you want,
understand better now.
and arranging that around the Buddha is part of my formula. Now we've got the idea for a lantern. That's really smart. You can join us. Find your Buddha nature, or at least find your Buddha statue. There you go. He's got his
Mala beads.
St. Pat's Day beads on since before the lockdown. And yeah, you could take a bowl, a serving bowl or anything like that for Haju's idea for the Buddha baby to get bathed with the sweet tea. I think that's a great idea. And yeah, an offering, piece of fruit. This offering, I'm offering to myself. What else? Yeah, I'm really afraid of fire. Fire bad. These tea lights are great. You can use flashlights, and I had a bike light and all kinds of other things that don't burn. So for all the parents out there who worry if their kids are going to get obsessed with the candle and keep that going to the point where your living room goes up in flames, that's not cool. Don't forget to clean up. I don't know. That's it. If this is a success, or if people want, I was thinking we've got probably 5 more weeks of this. So why don't we make a whole bunch of snowflakes, and then when the impending winter shows up, we're all set with a bunch of snowflakes and we can get good. So I can, if asked, I'll go and do that again. I'll show how to fold it, which is tricky, and some tips about how to make them. And definitely, if you like paper cutting, get yourself a pair of iron scissors and don't rely on the crappy ones you get from office supply stores they're safe and all, but you really can't cramp down on 8 layers with shitty scissors. You really got to get something good. That was about a half an hour. They told me to go to 1, but I don't see the point. You're on your own now, and make good lanterns. And I really appreciate you listening to me and doing this with me.
Yeah, thank you.
The strength of the Sangha is so great. And I can't tell you how much you all mean to me. And I'm not tearing up. It's a glass.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
No problem. That was fun.
Hey, Nikki.
So everybody, let's go. Speak up and show your stuff. Nice hair.
I don't think we will be
scissors.
Oh, yeah. See, oh, that's cool. Why are you frowning?
OJ said it looks like paraplegic ginger men.
Yeah, it's like paraplegic.
I did not say that.
I partied with a bunch of paraplegic ginger men once. I'm not telling you all the story, but it got wild. Hey, Debbie.
Hi.
Oh, don't do that.
Where's Curtis?
Hey, Nikki.
That's great. He's upstairs somewhere.
Hi. How are you? How's everybody?
Somebody's up.
Okay.
Well, this was fun.
It was.
So, yeah, if asked, I'll do snowflakes too. They're a little more complicated, but the results are gorgeous.
Cool. Okay.
Cool. What's the question?
I'm asking Mariana what she made.
What did you make, Mariana? You see
She made
Sama?
a frown.
Say hi. See? Hi, Mariana. She's working on.
Oh yeah.
She put a green light in she's ready with the lights in a cup.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys are on your way. Definitely take a picture and send it to Ann Arbor so she can post them and stuff. Cool. Oche, who's hosting this?
I think it's.
Mara.
I think she just left it open though. She, I think she went to take care of things. But had she ended the meeting, I think it would have kicked all of us out. So I think she just left it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying this is all still going live on YouTube.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
I'm not able to turn this off.
Yeah. But I think this is the same channel for the sound check, right? For the Burning Karma Cabaret. So I can.
I don't know if
use
this
the
is
up
going to be the same number.
Thing is going
here. Okay.
onto YouTube, basically.
Okay.
Weird.
That's a half an hour from now.
Going onto YouTube.
Hey Teddy, can you hear me?
We're basically talking to random people and yelling their names, and people on YouTube watching.
Hey,
realize
Teddy?
who you're talking to.
Okay, it's talking to you. So
I don't know if you want. I don't know if Curtis is on the other channel, but Sam's here at on Friday at 4. Andrew and Curtis and Samuel we're going to be playing Magic on Zoom at 4 on Friday at 4 p.m. I don't know if you're interested or if you're available, but I'll email your mom a link. Okay.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Thank you. And I know you emailed me generally, and sorry I didn't get back to you.
No worries.
All right.
Dang it, the caption line fell off.
How do you fold the Teddy so that it doesn't fold?
Maybe the right one or maybe the wrong one.
Fold it.
I guess this is a good time to mention that Haju's message today included patience. And when you're making art, you should be very patient. Some people like myself, I used to struggle when I'd be creative. It brought up bad feelings, and you can turn those around because you can make part of your practice making art, and definitely focusing on what you're doing. Be mindful, be conscientious, have some joy, and know that it's not necessarily the masterpiece that has to be in a museum. It's the act of making art that's the intrinsic joy and beauty of being creative, and that's a load. That's a really important lesson to learn.
Here.
People are told to hurry in class. People are told, they see their other people's and they think their art isn't good enough. That's not the point. The point is to really have fun and see how your mind is being creative and what it's coming up with and how it can improve it on your own terms, and not live for somebody else. And yeah, definitely I'm encouraging everybody to phone in their pictures. I guess Haju likes it emailed, but we'll organize that if need be. If anybody needs tea lamps, I'm available. I got 100 of them, literally. So that's about it. Oche's eating pretzels.
Ready for
I
lunch.
think we're gonna wrap this up. For laughs, until it blows up, I'm gonna show you how to fold for snowflakes. I'm gonna do it over and over because it's such a pain in the ass when you don't do it right. And
You have everything.
I'm gonna make a snowflake.
so you take a piece of paper. You want to make a square.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So if your 8.5 by 11 piece of paper isn't square, you're going to come up with a piece of paper that looks like this. And that's perfectly fine. So make that first fold.
Play against me? No.
Now we're going to make the next fold. And it'll be this way.
It's like a square.
That's too long.
Does that make sense?
Well,
If you do it wrong, don't beat yourself up and just figure that part out.
he said to make a square.
Yeah.
So far we've made 2 folds. It might be better to slice this part off to keep it straight.
But then how do I get four?
So now we got a square that's in 4, like this. So now the tricky part. The tricky part is we're going to make this in thirds. And that's tricky because if you make the first fold too big, the second fold
Oh, his video is pinned.
won't have enough room. And sure enough, this part's a little too big, so I'm gonna have to refold it a little. I had a template that helped me, but you be your own self and figure out how to do this. This is the hardest part of the snowflake. If you can get this fold down, then you can have snowflakes. You see people putting snowflakes in the window and they're 8 points and 4 points. Those aren't snowflakes. Snowflakes are always 6.
Mom, I think I did it.
Now you've got this extra part. You really want to get rid of it because
Mary finished her lantern one.
Oh, he cut.
so that's now we're ready to make a snowflake.
Yeah, I don't think I did this right.
So just because I've been doing it for so long, I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to try to get the camera on the there.
Mine is 10, but then you can move the
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know if I don't think I did it right either.
Take your piece of paper, fold it in half,
Oh, cool.
You have like
fold it in half again. Now you got a square. Actually, you don't have a square. And now I'm going to fold it in thirds.
I have a feeling he's gonna go bishop here. That's just one of my guesses. That's how.
Oh, now we can't see her.
There you go. That will be a perfect snowflake. Cool.
What mine came out
Like have them as a triangle, right?
like.
Either that one or the middle one. I don't know.
But I think you just cut it.
If you have your pawn stacked.
How's everybody doing?
Bishop there.
One tip for making good snowflakes is you might want to start in the center and not go out to the edges. To do that, you have to use a hole punch or a good scissors because now you're going through, I think that's 16 layers of paper. So now I've got suggestions for lines. If you take those lines and continue them, you've got a good chance of making a better snowflake than if you didn't. In other words, you could just chop away at the snowflake and you'll still make something beautiful because it'll be all symmetric because your folds were just so fine. But better.
Yeah, and fold it in half. And this is what
When you go ahead and do it like that, see those lines connect?
I don't know if I'm right for this. Wait, I did that.
I'm gonna make that line connect.
Yeah, look at this. Look at that. I made this.
Oh, that looks right.
Can I see this? Wait, so I did it like this, Mom. I folded this like this basically, and then
I
I
got
folded
it.
that. Then you cut off the top.
Okay, I think I understand it now.
Then you cut off the top. Like this one. Then you just cut into it.
An important point about the snowflakes is there's all these folds, and when you're done and you want to put it in the window, it looks so much better if you spend a day or two squishing it. Get a bunch of books or something heavy and flat, and lay the snowflake out and have it pressed overnight or for a day or three, and the results are much better, I think. Also, counter folding them helps. So look at me, I just whipped out this snowflake.
Wow.
Wow.
So cool.
Isn't that magic?
Gorgeous.
Oh.
And you see when I was telling you to pay attention to the lines to connect them over the other lines,
That really
how
does.
that turns into a pattern.
I don't think this is gonna work.
And because I started in the middle, there's like two sets of patterns. And you can go nuts, you can make it look like lace, you can make them bold and big.
So
You can do whatever the hell you want.
I love it here.
See what's from the side?
Cool?
Very cool.
Let's everybody show what you got.
Wait,
Still
What you
working.
got?
Working on it.
Yeah. Work.
Here, show. Okay, show me your original.
Yeah, a good one. Oh yeah, you made a lantern. Awesome.
I'm gonna do this now.
Okay. And then obliterate it.
Aha. Aha. Whoa.
You did it. Woohoo!
Congratulations.
wait.
I got it.
Does anybody remember Fred Sperry?
Yes,
yeah.
I do.
This
He's
is
amazing.
this backdrop is a painting we had him commissioned to do for one of the dry cleaners.
That's amazing. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Look at this.
That is so nice. We have one upstairs too.
Yeah, I
It's
have one.
orange.
I've got to put it back up.
A bird. So pretty.
That's cool, Curtis.
Okay.
Hi, Curtis.
Oh, hi.
Good.
Yeah.
You got it right.
Yeah. I got a better idea than that.
Better idea. Cool.
If you don't want it to fall apart, let's put this in the ceiling.
Really?
And put this.
I'm gonna show you my baby Buddha altar.
Uh-huh. Let's see.
Love it.
I'm gonna do something even funnier.
There.
Oh, pretty.
Wow. It is magic.
Oh,
Cool.
what?
Yeah,
Can you do one for me? I need another glass.
What?
I might have a bagel for practice. Actually,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, those were super easy.
Can I do another one? Chocolate?
paper cutting for parents is great because it's cheap.
And it's
Except
so
those-
cathartic.
The iron scissors cost a bunch, but
Yeah.
they last forever. I never even sharpen them. They just last forever. Boy, that's nice, Debbie.
Thank
We have
Okay,
seeing everyone.
stay cool. Comb your hair.
What? She said comb your hair.
One of those lost arts.
Sam just asked me, he's like, wait, is that the guy with the crazy party? And I'm like, yeah, that's him.
That's the crazy party guy.
You could just wear a hat like you and not comb your hair.
Yeah, that's what I did. Actually, I did that because I smashed my head. I didn't want to get any third eye jokes going. I love you guys. I guess we're wrapping this up.
Yeah,
And,
you had 15 minutes on the next one, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta do the tech check. Hey, Stu, do you know if we're going to use the same code?
I don't remember, but I think so.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I think it's just the temple code, which as I finally figured out is the temple phone number.
Got it. Oh, okay. That's why it makes sense. Okay. Well, I'll just stay on here. Actually, I want to put it on my laptop now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, right. Yeah. Whatever you want to get to, wherever you're going to be doing it for the, for the show.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
I can just stay on here, right? I can just stay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just stay. Cool.
I'll stay with you.
Okay.
We're not going anywhere.
I think
Hi, Conhe.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good. I made a snowflake.
It's awesome.
It was so
There was some serious paper art going on there. I have to
Yeah,
say.
it was.
Noju, can I see your lantern, Noju?
Oh, it's really simple.
Oh my gosh,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
I have colored paper, so I'm gonna play with different colors. Yeah.
Really cool. That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for Sushim, I guess, to log back in and then let him take over as the host so that he can play around with the YouTube. You know what I mean? Like he's learning all of this. So.